Welcome back. This is Alcroft Designs, and this is again the Starlight Mints Hat. This is tutorial number 2. We're going to look at an example of how to do Intarsia in the round. Now, Intarsia in the round is actually really Intarsia knitted flat. However, you're constructing in the round. So imagining that this is where the beginning of your round is. You're going to knit on the outside of your work, and then when you get back to the beginning of the round, you're going to wrap and turn to the inside of your work and work on the inside of the hat and go all the way around back again to the beginning of round, wrap and go all the way back, etc., etc. So let's take a look at what that looks like kind of in miniature. And I've got a little mini mock-up of the hat here. I've got the ribbing, I've got the different color panels. This is just stockinette. It's not the actual pattern for the hat. But I wanted to show you what you do at each color change. So these are the mini hand bobbins. These are kind of mini because they're not the full 12 and 8 yards that the hat calls for. I am using magic loop. You can use double points, however you two at a time, whatever you prefer for knitting in the round. So I'm going to continue with my blue. Okay, and again I'm just knitting stockinette, so much simpler than doing it in the pattern right now. So when I get to a color change, what do? I'm going to twist the two yarns as they meet, and I always twist from the bottom, so I just twist like this every single time. Again, I just take the two yarns, I'm finished with my blue, I'm starting my silver, I'm just going to twist, and I'm going to pick up that blue with my right hand, middle finger, just to hold it nice and taut. And then I'm going to start knitting with my gray. Now here's an example of where I don't have enough yarn, so I'm going to actually just pull my bobbin. It unwraps by itself, and then I'm just going to start to knit. And I'm almost back to my beginning of round, and that's when I'm going to show you how to do the wrap and turn. Again, I've got a color change. I'm going to make sure I'm picking up the correct blue. I'm going to twist the same direction. I'm going to grab the one I'm dropping with my right hand to kind of pin it. Again, I've got a little bit of length I need, so I'm just going to pull my bobbin. It's going to unwrap right from the center, no tangling. And I'm going to continue with this section of blue. Okay, now as I get to this beginning of round, you see my orange marker here at the beginning of round, I am going to wrap and turn. Now look below here. I have already wrapped and turned here and wrapped and turned here, and I'm going to now wrap and turn here. I've wrapped the silver here, I've wrapped the blue here on subsequent rows. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to slip my marker, I'm going to wrap, okay, and turn exactly like I was doing a short row. Okay, I'm going to wrap, and now again I'm going to slip my marker, and I am now working on the inside of the hat. You see, I'm working on the inside of the hat. Now I am purling back to my next color change, which was the one I actually had just finished. Now in this pattern, all the inside rows, the wrong side if you will, rows, are just purl. There's no patterning on the inside, it's just purl straight back. Now when I get to this color change, again I take the new yarn color from the bottom. Then I'm going to pull that through. Again, I'm going to hold this tight so that I can get a nice tight stitch right here. I'm going to start to purl. Okay, now again I'm at a color change. Now do you see how this got kind of loose as I was pulling? No big deal. I'm just going to tug on it just a little bit. Whoops, I'm going to just tug on it a little bit. I'm going to take this, pinch it here, then I'm going to start knitting again. Okay, now I'm going to do that all the way around, and when I get back to the color change at the beginning of round, I am going to again just take that silver as I come around this way, wrap it around the first stitch of the blue, and then turn my work, and then I'm going to start knitting this direction with my silver. So that is constructing in the round, but knitting flat essentially. Now in this pattern, if you really don't want to do this construction in the round, you could always knit it flat. That's no problem at all. All you would do is you would add one more stitch in the blue, one more stitch in the gray, because as you seam it, you're going to use up that seam stitch. It's a selvage. And then you would just knit it flat. However, if you want to avoid the seaming, which many people want to do, all you would do is do this construction in the round. Now, taking a look right here at this seam, it looks like, oh, well, you're going to see this, right? Well, again, I'm in stockinette. In the lace and cable pattern, you really won't see it. How do I know that? Well, let's take a look at the example. Looking at the inside of my hat, I've got all of these color changes, okay? I've got the silver here. This is where I did the twisting, okay? So you can see all of these nice, tight twists are what prevents the holes. So what I'm looking for is my beginning of round. Here it is. Now the way I know that this is where my beginning of round is because do you see how I've got the gray on one side and the silver on the other? Here I don't have that same twisting mechanism. What I have instead is I have the wraps. So do you see how this wrapped around the silver and the silver here wrapped around the pink? So what does that look like from the correct side of the work? Well, let's take a look. Can you tell any difference? Can you tell any difference at all? Nope. So here is where I have that wrap and turn. And it looks exactly like its neighbors. Okay? Look at it looks exactly like its neighbors. Now, the reason is that when you have this cable and lace pattern, see this cable and lace? The movement of the cable and then the movement of the lace, these open work sections of the lace, the yarn overs, hides that wrap and turn beautifully. Do you see that? So that's why construction in the round works in this pattern. Okay, I want to show you one more tip when working with these hand bobbins. There will be times, because you're twisting with every color change, there will be times where your bobbins get really crazy tangled, like really crazy tangled like this. Okay, there will be times where that happens and it's frustrating, right? Well, it's actually not that big of a deal. Let me show you why. When you get to the blue that you need, just pull it. Even though the origin ball for this blue is like way down here, just pull it. It'll just pull and pull, easy as pie. Just pull and it comes right out. And then where you have the hat, just do that center pull bobbin one more time. Easy peasy. Because these are center pull, you can just pull from the inside of this massive tangle, just pull your yarn and it'll just unwind. And then pull, 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 unwind. Pull, 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 unwind, and keep pulling, and it just will just unwind right out of the center pull bobbin. And then you can just do that for all of them or until you get to be a more manageable number. And then what you do with the spaghetti is you just rewind it into another center pull bobbin. Butterfly, bobbin, however you want to call it. And by doing this just every now and again, you will completely untangle any mess that you have from these bobbins, which is why I love this method. You guys, this is so game-changing. You don't have to have a piece of cardboard. You don't have to have a paper clip or a clothespin that I've seen for people who do more bobbins. All you need are your fingers. And it's wonderful because you can just pull them out whenever you need, and they'll never, ever get tangled to the point that you can't pull them through. Okay? So that is how to do Intarsia in the round with the wrap and turn. Again, it's much more visible here because I'm doing just plain stockinette. But again, when you have it in the hat, you really, 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 really won't see it. Promise. You won't see it at all. Okay? So that is the Starlight Mints Hat. And if you have any questions, feel free to PM me on Ravelry, and I'll get right back to you. And I hope you enjoy this hat, and I hope you enjoy this pattern. And put a pom-pom on it. Enjoy. Bye.